Want to call to order the March 11th, 2013 meeting of the East Ascension Gravity Drainage District Number 1. Madam Secretary, please note that everyone's present except Mr. Turner and Mr. Benny Johnson. Would everyone please stand for the invocation given by Todd Lambert, and please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here tonight. Give us the wisdom, the strength to make decisions on our parish's drainage. We've come a long way. We have a long way to go. We also, Lord, want to take this moment to memories of the Ron and Tabitha Marshall family, of the loss of their son. Also, the family of Mr. Ernie Bursage. May you heal him. May you give him some strength in these hard times going through his family right now. Also, one other one is Mr. Ben LaBeouf that passed away this past week. I want to take a moment of silence for these three gentlemen. Thank you, and we ask this in your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just want to let everybody know, anyone wishing to speak on any agenda item, please sign in with the Secretary, and you'll be given time whenever that agenda item comes up. The Chair would entertain a motion to accept the minutes of the February 4th, 2013 meeting.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr. Sadley, second by Mr. Todd Lambert. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. We have a lot to discuss tonight, so the Chairman's report, I don't have a lot. We will cover one of the main things is major drainage projects, and we'll go right into Mr. Rude's report, item number 6.
Okay, we handed out a schedule. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, but go through it real quickly. Capital projects. Marvin Bro Pump Station Expansion Project, the construction part is over 90%. You've got about another month. They should be wrapping it up. Hills of Bayou Floodgate Project is about 65% complete. The Law Ridge Levee Extension, the reconnaissance study is 100% complete, 85% complete on the preliminary design, preliminary permitting. And you can look at your schedule and keep the schedule with you. We can keep updating this month by month, keep you aware of what's happening. But the expected completion on the Law Ridge Levee extension is around 2016. First of 2016. So the Bluff Swamp Levee project, Bluff Ridge Road drainage project, we're just getting started with that. The reconnaissance study is about 77% complete, and we're just getting started on the 30% design and permitting section of that project. And again, you can follow it on down. Hopefully, we have it scheduled to complete in, if everything goes well, about toward the end of 2015 for that project. Panama Canal Conway Bayou Improvement Project, mostly snagging and clearing. We're going for RFP on that. Just about completed RFP, be sending it out for advertisement in a couple of weeks. We also at the same time, GSA is working on the permitting. We should have the permitting in about the time the RFP is in, and it can go immediately to the construction or the operation of snagging and clearing after that, and hopefully be finished toward the end of this year on the Panama Canal and Conway Canal. So again, that's just a recap of everything. Again, we can be updating this month to month, and if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer. You have your daily operation work orders. Go through it. If you have any questions, feel free to call me tomorrow, or one of my people get with you and go through it with you.
Yeah, just a recap on some of the things. The Law Ridge Levee Extension, we hope to have some community meetings within the next couple of weeks on that. the Bluff Swamp Ridge Road Drainage Project. We have some emergency things going on where we're doing some proactive things to pump that down and get that straight. And if Mr. President, you'd wish to speak on that subject?
Yes, I had talked to Ms. Cazzo last week, and we're going to plan some community meetings there to discuss with the people on the Ridge Road, and also anybody else that's interested, the preliminaries about the new project that we're looking at for the Frog Body locks, and to help the people and the residents on the Ridge Road and the Bluff Swamp. So we'll be setting that up. Bill, would you make sure?
Yes, sir.
And on the Panama Canal and the Conway Bayou, that clean out and that works, that's somewhat overdue, and we're gonna get into that as quick as we can. And I just want to let everybody know that several of us went up for a national delegation to meet with our federal legislative body and individuals on departments, and that all the projects that we have that we're working, and all the projects that we have on the future books, that everybody up there is pretty much aware of it. And so far, the engineering firms that we have working with us on all our projects, we've got a good relationship with the Corps of Engineers, and we don't see any great stumbling blocks right now going forward. So we should be able to get them done. Anybody else?
Just one thing, Mr. Chairman, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Bill, on the Henderson Bayou, how we coming on the levee? The last time I was there with a lot of rain event going on, it's okay?
Actually, they haven't been able to do anything on the levee section. They've been pouring concrete for the walls of the main pumping station. So they have been proceeding, with the project, but they was hoping to get started on the levee section a couple of months ago, actually. With all the rain, they haven't been able to. So that is pushed back, and that's why, we're about 60%. We should be about 75% complete, but because all the rain has been pushed back.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Ms. Cazzo, you had something?
Just one comment. I wanted to thank Bill and the parish president for their efforts on behalf of the Ridge Road community and Bluff Road community. The pumping of that water, I know, has created some concerns for members of other districts, and I apologize to Mr. Lore's constituents for the concerns it causes them. But it has, all of their questions have also been answered in a timely fashion, and I appreciate that. We certainly don't want to cause harm to folks in another district by alleviating a problem for ours. So I'm grateful for your quick response to their concerns, and particularly for your response to the needs of those folks. I do want you to know that the first meeting, gentlemen, was very, very well attended of our public meetings back on the Ridge for that, when we discussed this issue. And so I look forward to those future meetings, and I think they'll even be better attended. Thank you very much, both of you.
Thank you. Mr. Shake Snyder.
Bill, I just wanted to follow up on that, the last meeting we had for the group around the Burnside area, Pelican Point. They had some drainage issues, and we were gonna reschedule, and you had said you were looking into it, and you needed to, are you about there, maybe a couple of weeks, we can have the follow-up meeting?
Yeah, I think so. It's in engineering right now to go out and survey the rerouting of the water from that subdivision down Highway 22 to the major ditch lateral that goes to Panama near the church. And it's, like I say, it's in engineering right now to get surveyed and evaluated. I'll check and see where we're at tomorrow on it, but they should be able to finish it up this week.
Okay, and we can
And once we get that, we'll know
set
for
up a meeting
certain.
maybe in a couple of weeks?
We should be able to. We'll know for certain that we can reroute that water that way.
Okay. I'll give you a call.
Okay.
We'll set it up. Thank you. Appreciate your efforts.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any other comments? Thank you, Mr. Rue. We'll move on to agenda item number 7, bridge repairs. And I tell you what, I wanted this on the agenda tonight. I'm not asking for any type of vote. We currently are sitting on an AG's opinion that's about 6 years old, based on I think it was asked well and it was answered well at the time. I respect the AG's opinion and the lawyers that were representing us at the time that went forward with it. Based on the repairs, the possible repairs to bridges, we have estimated, what, 300?
About 300 bridges,
We have
private bridges.
Yeah, 300 somewhat private bridges within our parish, within the East Ascension Gravity Drainage District, and then we also have the West Ascension, which may have more. Some of those bridges are aging. Some of the bridges don't serve a public purpose anymore. They probably did at a time. Some of them still serve a public purpose for us to get to across canals and get to places that we have to take care of the canals, the bayous and everything. And so, right now, we basically, there's a black line that says we cannot do any repairs to a private bridge, okay? Within that system, we have some bridges that are 50 years old or better that actually serve the purpose and are still serving the purpose. We have some that we have people that's been around for a long time that's been crossing the bridges to get to their homes. I find it hard to believe that there's probably some homeowners that have moved into the parish, people that bought land and the access from a bridge that's been there, and it was there when they bought the land, probably don't have any idea that to replace that bridge, it may cost $25,000, $55,000, whatever, okay? What I'm asking is, I want to get with legal. We have a few, you have a few references in front of you. One bridge is on Brittany Street. I think another bridge is over on West Main. And one of them for sure, I know we got some elderly people that live across and they have some health issues. Okay, and the last thing we want is for somebody not to be able to get in or out. So this is not an issue that's going to go away. I wanted to come in front of this board tonight, and this is just for general discussion, but I want everybody to know, including the parish right here in the East Ascension Gravity Drainage District, that we do have a lot of bridges out there that have been taken care of by the parish. Some of them have been taken off and weren't taken care of for a lot of years. Some of them have been signed over. Some of the bridges, I think, Bill, have been signed over to the private landowners. A final repair was made or something, and years ago before the decision, intergovernmental agreement, things like that. But we have we got to try to help people whenever we can, whenever it's legal, and try to do what's right. So I will be seeking to try to seek an AG's opinion based on specifics, all right, on some of these issues. And, of course, going forward, been in place for a number of years, I know since we've been in, about what we're doing on bridges going forward, on private land, bridges just going across to some land or whatever. Some areas, the parish might have used 5 bridges along a canal to access when they were doing the dredging and everything, and now it's accessible by maybe 2, not out to 5, okay? All those bridges, they had a bridge survey probably 3 months ago or so, and trying to look at, getting an opinion out of the drainage department and the administration about whether we're using these bridges, whether they serve a purpose for us now or not, whatever. Some of the bridges that have problems with them, we used them. We used them a lot with some heavy equipment. So some of the problems are inherent to government, or inherent to the drainage district. So anybody's got anything they want to talk about on this or any opinion, feel free. Yes, sir. Mr. Dempsey Lambert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate you bringing this up. I would be in support of you getting another new Attorney General's opinion on this. Like you said, there are many places out here we cross and we utilize these bridges, and I'd like to see what we could do to keep the safety of the public and be able to make the repairs.
All right. Thank you, sir. Yes, Doc Satterley.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I agree with Councilman Lambert, and I think that's why I put that in an email to you this week when you wrote about this behind the scenes. You put it well then, as you have again tonight. I didn't realize the problem was as big as 300 bridges, but I do have one, as you know, in my district on Tiggy Duplessis. I'd like resolution to as soon as possible. Happy constituent makes for a happy councilman. So as soon as you get the Attorney General's opinion, truck on. Thank you.
And just to clear things up, and I'm gonna let everybody else speak, but I don't have any verbiage that I want right now. I don't have anything written down. But I do believe that the AG's office is run by some good people, and we've got some good legal that's advising us, and that if we go forward and ask a question, we may want. I just don't believe in a black and white line. You do or you don't always, okay? Sometimes there's special circumstances. Yeah, Brian, you'd want to
I was
speak.
just going to say, do we need to make a motion to ask legal to put that together and submit it to the Attorney General to get that opinion?
I would accept that
I'll make that
motion.
motion right now.
I second it for this.
I second,
Yeah.
but I really don't think it's necessary. The chairman has the right to, certainly to
Yes,
continue to ask.
basically, anybody has a right
We-
to ask for an AG's opinion.
Yes.
I just wanted a consensus of
It
the
has to
board.
come from a
It
resolution.
would look better
from the
coming
board.
from a whole
Yeah.
board.
Yes, I
It has to
mean,
come from
we
resolution.
know that we all represent people. That's the first thing we do. We represent people, okay? And that we have people that there's circumstances behind, okay? Not everybody has an organization out there to help them in their circumstances, although all the organizations, self-help groups, and the great communities that we live in. This is a decent dollar burden for anybody that has a bridge in front of them, okay? So, the chair would accept your motion. You got a motion,
I
and we
second.
have a second to go,
Discussion.
to ask legal to look at and go forward for a new attorney, AG's opinion. Yes, sir, Mr.
Discussion.
Todd Lambert.
This might go to Mr. O'Neill. Looking at some of these bridges, they can all be somewhat different, almost every one you look at. Some have services that we actually do cross and we actually use as a parish government. So they're not all going to be in the same category, so I don't know how you would look at an Attorney General's opinion unless you break them down each as they come to us
I'd like to,
individually.
Well, I think we did this years
Yeah.
ago, when you
Yeah.
were there. This opinion led to that. There's some bridges that the public uses. If the bridge is for a public purpose, the public can maintain it.
Automatically.
yes,
If
it's
the
no
bridge is for a
problem.
private purpose, then, it's been our opinion that you couldn't. What we suggested years ago was that we do an inventory of all the bridges. There's some that we use. We itemize the ones we use, and we then go to the landowners and say, we're going to declare these bridges surplus, and they're your bridge. They have a bridge that way, at least to
Right.
work from there, and they can do whatever they want. I think if we'd have done that 9 years ago, maybe some of these problems wouldn't be here today. We'd have been able to get rid of some of the bridges, and there's some people that are going to say, I don't want it. You're going to have to make a determination then as to what you do. But I think the AG's opinion is clear that you can't block a drainage structure. So,
Right.
and there are going to be individual cases, but if it's being used generally for the public use, then I don't think those bridges apply. It's those that you have the problem, and we worked out I think when I was representing drainage, we had an objective criteria to determine what it was, and now we're running into some other issues that maybe they don't meet the objective criteria. But I think we can draft an opinion.
All right, appreciate it, sir.
And that's why I just want to clear that up. I think it's been about 5 months ago that we have a first draft of more recent bridge audit based on everything. And I don't think it's really been detailed out as far, but that's something that we can look to go through. It shouldn't take that long, a review of the bridges that are for the public and the bridges that are for municipal use. So, given that, anybody in the administration wish to speak? Yes, Mr.
I think we
President?
already have that list,
Yeah,
so, since the opinion, we hadn't worked on any of the bridges that we consider private bridges. But the ones that we utilize, we've been fixing them.
yeah.
So, but we do have a inventory of that.
I'm gonna tell y'all this what. One thing, and this is just my personal opinion, and also somebody that represents people, is that it's no different than somebody that has moved in a big, nice, high-class subdivision and find out that the road's going bad, and find out 2 years later that, well, it's not a public road. They always thought it was a public road, It's the same situation with a bridge or an access because it's just part of a road. Is that somebody finds out years later, they bought a place across the bridge, and then, well, nothing was written in the documents when it was sold that, hey, you know, that bridge is yours, you know, or that bridge belongs to Joe, who owns the first part of the land, you know. He signed that 10 years ago. Ain't nobody gonna help you fix that bridge. You have to pull out of your pocket to fix it. That's just the only thing, and I think through some deliberation and do some fact finding that we'll try to, we've already fixed the problem going forward. We've done that several years back. But these bridges are getting aged, and these bridges are getting to the point. And they definitely got some people out there that need some help.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Mr. Shakespeare.
O'Neill, I was curious as to if there was a different designation if we have a dedicated major drainage canal that was being crossed by a bridge as opposed to just a regular ditch that's maintained by the homeowner. And
I mean, I can clearly request that.
yeah, because I mean, I think that's where the big issues are, and my sense of responsibility, where the parish, for the general good of everyone in the parish, a person has a crossing, that's a bridge, that's crossing a major designated major drainage canal that assists everyone in the parish. I think that becomes a fine line of whether it's due to the greater good. And also, if you had one of those things that we might not be currently using, and through further development, it might come into play that we may need to use it to get into a certain area in the future. So I think it's a little more, I'm much like the chairman, is a little bit more than black and white, and that it's something that's that has some fine lines with assistance to these people that are in that situation. So hopefully we can look forward and find in some ways to help these people.
Thank you, Mr. Shakespeare. Anyone else? With that said, that any objection to the motion? We have a motion by Mr. Longson and a second by Mr. Shakespeare. Thank you, ma'am. Please note that Councilman Turner has been here for a little while. We just didn't stop talking long enough to go ahead and let him in. Thank you, sir. We'll move on to agenda item number 8, authorization to amend truck hauling contract, Hallelujah Free Dirt Trucker.
So moved.
Mr. Rue.
Yeah, we just authorize the amendment to the 2012 annual contract between Ascension Drainage and Hallelujah Free Dirt to increase the total compensation not to exceed $32,760.
So moved.
We have a motion by Mr.
Second.
Shakespeare, a second by Mr. Satterley. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move to agenda item number 9, authorization to execute contract between East Ascension Drainage District and Volkert Engineers for FEMA Muddy Creek Improvement Project, HMGP 1786-005-0003. Mr. Rue.
We ask to approve the contract between East Ascension Drainage and Volkert Engineers for engineering services, Muddy Creek Drainage Improvement Project, HMGP number 1786-005-0003. Authorize the parish president, Tommy Martinez, to sign and execute all documents.
Make that motion.
We have a motion by Mr. Lord,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Who's that? Mr. Satterley. Any discussion? Any opposition? Motion carries. We'll move on to agenda item number 10.
Motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion by Mr. Todd Lambert to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Brian Malonson. Any discussion? Any opposition? We are adjourned.